Dear friends, fellow members of Melodia Tswane, and others who might find this short message. It is Monday, 30 March 2020, day 4 of the official lockdown in South Africa. The start of the first full week of lockdown. If your life were anything like mine, then last week was spent in a frantic attempt at preparation, making decisions within minutes on matters that usually you might have reflected on for days or weeks. Finding yourself living a life that a mere few weeks back you would have thought completely impossible. Then you eat the weekend, perhaps not that different from any other weekend at home. But this week, our reality will undoubtedly hit home. We are in fact locking down a country in a frantic attempt to prevent a vicious virus to spread exponentially, which will result in massive loss of life. Our faith was born in times of crisis. It was born under the sword of Babylon and Greece, as Israel found words for their faith in the one God. Jesus was born under the Roman Empire. His followers started the first congregations after the cross and at times under persecution. Throughout the centuries, wars and plagues have often been the crucible in which Christians had to think about what it is that we really believe about God. One such moment that has been on my mind over the past days was the year 70 after Christ, when the city of Jerusalem was destroyed by the Roman army. The passage that I want to reflect on with you today is Luke 19, verse 41 to 44. As he approached Jerusalem and saw the city, he wept over it and said, "If you, even you, had only known on this day what would bring you peace, but now it is hidden from your eyes. The days will come upon you when your enemies will build an embankment against you and encircle you, and hem you in on every side. They will dash you to the ground, you and the children within your walls. They will not leave one stone on another, because you did not recognize the time of God's coming to you." When Luke wrote his gospel, he already knew that Jerusalem was destroyed a few decades after Jesus' ministry. This was due to a failed revolution by militant Jews and the occupying Roman Empire deciding to bring a final solution to the political turmoil in Judea. The Romans massacred these Jews and brought an end to what was left of old Israel. Some say that more than 1 million people died in the siege. When Luke writes about Jesus weeping over the Jerusalem, he already knows about what will happen to Jerusalem. The lives of early Christians in Judea were completely disrupted by this event. As the reality of the time that we are in starts to hit us, many of us will probably also cry. Perhaps you already find yourself teary-eyed already. Perhaps you will find yourself crying uncontrollably sometime this week or next week. Perhaps it will be someone in your house, someone you are locked up with. We need to have space for each other to cry. We are so used to saying to each other that we should have hope, that things will work out. But Luke knew that sometimes things did not work out. And he gave us a picture of Jesus crying over Jerusalem, weeping for what is to come. We might also cry or become angry at our world, our country, our leaders, our history, as we start to see the ways in which this situation is being made worse by the failures in our society. The inequalities, the lack of an adequate safety net for all, the lack of adequate healthcare, safe housing for all. Perhaps we find ourselves echoing Jesus' words and asking, could you not have seen what would make for peace, for safety, for health and well-being? Perhaps you will find that you are afraid. I can recall that moment over the past days when I, for the first time, found myself truly terrified at what is to come. These are not emotions that are outside of faith. Faith allows us to feel things completely, our anger, our fears, our uncontrollable sadness. But faith also calls us to act from and in response to these emotions. Our world is now changing day by day. It will never be the same. Our faith should also call us to imagine the world we want to create. And not only after this is over, the choices we make in the coming weeks and months will in many ways determine the trajectory of the world for years, possibly decades to come. I want to invite you to listen to the emotions you have in this time. Allow yourself to feel. But in faith, also ask, what world do we want to create from this crisis? And on the other side of this crisis, what will this crisis teach us about the world that we should be striving for? What is it that Jerusalem did not know about peace? What is it that we do not know about what will bring peace and safety and health for all in our time? If you are watching this with others, some of your essential services, work colleagues, or your lockdown partners at home, or you think you need to watch this with others and discuss the text and these questions, I want you to pause the video now. Even if you are watching this alone, consider pausing, taking some minutes to silently reflect on Jesus' tears over Jerusalem and our tears over our communities. When you hit play, you will find the benediction. But now is the time to pause. I've often used the words of this Franciscan blessing, but they found new meaning in these uncertain times. May they ring true for you as well. Receive God's blessing wherever you are. May God bless you with a restless discomfort about easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that you may seek truth boldly and love deep within your heart. May God bless you with holy anger and injustice, oppression, and exploitation of people, so that you may tirelessly work for justice, freedom, and peace among all people. May God bless you with the gift of tears, to shed for those who suffer from pain, rejection, starvation, or the loss of all that they cherish, so that you may reach out your hand to comfort them and transform their pain into joy. May God bless you with enough foolishness to believe that you really can make a difference in this world, so that you are able, with God's grace, to do what others claim cannot be done.